He believes he is the devil's son, but once he discovers the truth, that belief fades away. The film starts 28 years after the previous installment. A lethal virus has decimated humanity, transforming people into zombies. Sir Jimmy Crystal observes his minions mocking a little boy named Spike and communicates with his unseen Dark Master, informing them that the Master wishes to see if the boy has the potential to be a warrior. Jimmy Crystal calls his minions Jimmies, and we will also refer to them as Jimmy, followed by a unique name. When Spike's knife falls to the floor, he understands he is vulnerable. Despite this, the group of Jimmies asks him to pick up the knife and face them. Jimmy Shite remains indifferent to the scenario, but Spike takes action and drives the knife into Shite's thigh, causing a severe wound. Jimmy Sweet collapses and ultimately succumbs to excessive blood loss. Everyone is astonished by what the young boy has done. Jimmy Crystal steps down from his throne to ask the boy his name. The boy responds that his name is Spike. However, Jimmy Crystal is not fond of the name Spike and decides to rename him Jimmy. They incorporate him into their group and leave together. After stepping outside, they fend off the lurking zombies and continue on their journey. The scene shifts to a bone temple set in a vast landscape surrounded by lush greenery. In the forest, a scruffy man is seen hunting a deer, but he soon falls prey to a pack of savage, naked zombies. The leader of the zombies, Samson, captures the man and violently tears off his head, revealing his brutal nature. Meanwhile, Dr. Kelson is seen dragging the body of a pregnant female out from an abandoned bus. Samson and his fellow zombies devour the man's remains. Samson hears Dr. Kelson singing in the distance. On his route to the Bone Temple, Dr. Kelson encounters Samson, who appears ready to attack him. As Samson charges at Kelson, he fires a tranquilizer dart, incapacitating Samson. Kelson tends to Samson while calling him by name and explains that he chose the name Samson during the time the new alpha virus struck the woods. Given his impressive build, after treating Samson, Kelson turns and walks away. In the woods, Dr. Kelson gathers the corpses, incinerates them in a furnace, and constructs a temple out of their bones. He resides underground to protect himself from the rampaging zombies. Sometime later, he emerges from his hiding place and spots Samson standing upright in the distance, gazing directly at him. Dr. Kelson gestures for Samson to approach, claiming he has what Samson wants. As Samson menacingly approaches Kelson, he quickly shoots a dart at him, rendering him immobile instantly. In reality, Kelson is treating him and aiding his recovery from the alpha virus. Kelson reassures Samson that he poses no threat to him and neither does Samson to him. Kelson then asks Samson if he has any flashes of memory from when he was still human before turning into a zombie. Samson is unable to speak after turning into a zombie, but Kelson holds on to the hope that he will eventually respond to this question. Moments later, Kelson wakes up to find Samson has disappeared, though Samson continues to visit and linger with Kelson. Meanwhile, in the woods, an uninfected Jono, a young woman named Kathy, and a young man named Tom are on the lookout for food. They soon spot a zombie nearby and quickly hide behind the trees. In an effort to protect his friends, Jono confronts the zombie, while Kathy runs away with Tom. When other zombies hear the commotion, they rush in. Jono flees for his life, urging his companions not to abandon him. As he battles zombies, Jono comes into contact with the virus and transforms into one himself. Kathy and Tom rush back to their shelter, where George informs them of the guests. Upon entering the house, they discover it has been taken over by a group of nomads. Jimmy Crystal tells Tom that they are a group of fatigued and hungry wanderers, referring to themselves as Jimmies. Kathy asks Jimmy Crystal whether they will leave, to which Crystal responds that they will, but they intend to kill everyone first. Matthew, enraged by this, throws hot water at them, but he is quickly subdued by the intruders while Kathy manages to escape. The Jimmies take George, Tom, and the others captive, dragging them out of their shelter. Crystal informs his companions that they will remain there for the night to sacrifice the captives to the Dark Lord. Meanwhile, Jimmy Inc. chooses a different route and heads into the forest, where she encounters a zombie, which she easily dispatches before continuing on her way. In his bone temple, Dr. Kelson is treating the head zombie, Samson, a scene observed from a distance by Jimmy Inc. using binoculars. Jimmy Crystal has captured Tom, George, and a woman, gagging their mouths. He tells the captives that he is the favored son of Old Nick, explaining that he travels the land with his Jimmies in search of souls to deliver to his father, the Dark Lord. He instructs his Jimmies to undress the captives for their offering to the Dark Lord. Consequently, the Jimmies don their masks and start to remove the hostages' shirts. Spike rushes out of the barn, vomiting. At the same time, Jimmy Inc. returns to the shelter and approaches Spike, telling him that this is unavoidable, but Spike insists he cannot do it. Samson sits against the bone tower, gazing up at the moon. Looking at the moon, Dr. Kelson informs Samson that the medication he has been administering is a blend of various substances, with morphine being the most potent. At the current rate, there is enough for only 2 more weeks. Over the last 28 years, he has scoured every medicine cabinet within a 70-mile radius and can no longer find it. Consequently, the only place he can send him is to the ossuary, where he will find eternal peace. In reality, with the morphine running out, Kelson intends to end Samson's life, as he cannot treat him without it. As he prepares to give Samson one final heavy dose of morphine, he asks for his last wish, to which Samson barely responds with, "Moon." On the other side, Jimmy Crystal's companions, whom he refers to as his fingers gifted by the Dark Lord, are seen gruesomely skinning the hostages. Jimmy approaches Tom, inviting him to choose one of his Jimmies to fight. If he wins, he will take over Jimmy's place, and he will be called Jimmy too, but if he loses, he will be sacrificed. Tom agrees and selects Jimmy, recognizing her as the weakest link in the group. Jimmy Crystal updates his followers that the old Nick has come and is prepared to witness the fight through his eyes. However, no one can see him. Tom is given a knife for the fight. He charges at Jemima, but Jemima gains the advantage and slices Tom's arm. Jimmy Crystal informs Jemima that the master is pleased with her and allows her to offer Tom to him in her own manner. Jemima points out that he chose her under the assumption that she was weaker. As she prepares to tear off Tom's skin, something strikes her from behind, leading to Jemima's instant demise. When everyone looks around, they see Kathy above them, responsible for the incident. All the Jimmies panic and rush to capture Kathy. In the chaos, Tom takes the opportunity to crawl to the gas cylinder and ignites one of the Jimmies on fire. Jimmy Jones shoots an arrow at Tom, killing him. Outside, Jimmy, Ink, and Spike hear the uproar and sense that something is amiss. Suddenly, a burning Jimmy bursts out of the barn. Kathy escapes from the roof and dashes toward the door. Jimmy Crystal notices her fleeing and commands Spike to catch Kathy for him. Spike complies and chases after Kathy, armed with an arrow and bow. Instead of shooting her, Spike asks her to take him along. Kathy approaches and delivers a blow below before escaping. The other Jimmies mourn their fallen comrade. Spike returns without Kathy, which displeases Jimmy Crystal. Spike explains that Kathy fought back and fled, forcing him to kill her. Jimmy Crystal is shocked when he hears this. He tells Spike that he could have severed Kathy's head and delivered it to him. Spike seeks his forgiveness, but Jimmy responds that he has let down the old Nick. He needs to reach out to him, who will determine if he accepts his apology or not. Other Jimmies support Jimmy Crystal, asking him to meet the old Nick in person, who will decide what to do to Spike. Crystal says that old Nick doesn't appear for feudal things in person when requested. Then, Jimmy Ink tells him that she has seen old Nick earlier today, leaving Crystal shocked. She points out that old Nick's body was red and aged, with a grand structure made of human bones behind him, where he was conversing with one of his demons. As morning arrives, the Alpha Samson remains seated against the bone temple. For the first time, he ties a piece of cloth around his waist, acting more like a human. Dr. Kelson is looking for Samson but cannot find him. Meanwhile, Jimmy Crystal and his followers observe him from a distance. Jimmy asks Crystal if that man is old Nick. Crystal is uncertain since he has not seen him yet, but offers an excuse, claiming he didn't know his father lived in this castle of bones. Spike hears Crystal's nonsense. Aware of who that man really is, Crystal instructs his followers to stay put until he returns. Samson wanders through the woods, experiencing flashes of his past as a human. Crystal arrives at the Bone Temple to meet Kelson, but he is taken aback by the eerie environment. Nearby, Kelson is sitting alone, deep in thought. Crystal gets his attention and inquires if he is the old Nick. Kelson flatly denies being any old Nick, stating he is Dr. Ian Kelson. He then asks Crystal if he is referring to old Nick as Satan, to which Crystal confirms. Crystal questions whose bones there are, and Kelson explains that this is an ossuary, a memorial for the dead. Crystal then asks why Kelson's skin is orange. Kelson explains that it is due to iodine, which helps kill the virus and protects him from infection. Crystal wonders if the virus has turned people into zombies, and Kelson acknowledges that it has. Crystal then asserts that Kelson feels detached from reality, and expounds that the old Nick has unleashed his fury on mankind. Kelson quickly realizes that Crystal is a Satanist. In a moment of intensity, Crystal reveals that he was hoping to see his father, the old Nick. Kelson queries whether his father is Satan, and Crystal answers affirmatively, though he admits he doesn't know him very well. He frequently talks to his father, but has never seen him. Meanwhile, Spike tells Jimmy Ink that, what if this man ends up not being old Nick? Jimmy Ink argues that it's not true because the man has orange skin and a palace made of bones. Yet Spike insists they should stay away from him. Jimmy claims that isn't the main issue. The real issue is whether Jimmy Crystal is truly the son of old Nick. She strongly believes she noticed Jimmy Crystal's eyes as he looked at old Nick through binoculars, and he appeared amazed by the surroundings. On the other side, Jimmy, the Lord, informs Kelson that he was 8 when the virus devastated the world. His only memory is of the church located next to his home. where he took refuge when the zombies invaded. This is how he survived. Unlike his mother and sister, who were hiding in the house and got killed by the frantic zombies, Kelson inquires about his father. Jimmy explains that his father was a priest and led the infected, which was the last time he saw him. Jimmy warns Kelson that his followers believe he is his father, which is false, and they want to meet him. If Kelson doesn't assist him, he will not hesitate to kill him. Kelson consents to help. Lord Jimmy returns to his followers and tells them that his father, Old Nick, wishes to meet them on the condition that no one will touch him, or they will be burned by the flames, and that no one will talk to the Dark Lord except for him. Meanwhile, Dr. Kelson tells Samson that for years he has never feared dying, but today he is concerned about what will happen to Samson in his absence. He prepares a medicine and gives it to Samson, assuring him he will heal him. Spike wakes up quietly, but Jimmy Inc. notices him. As Spike attempts to escape, he is attacked by a wandering zombie, but Spike takes him down and kills it. At that moment, Jimmy arrives and takes down Spike, questioning him about his escape plan. He reveals that the Jimmy Spike stabbed was his best friend, and that he seeks revenge now. Just then, Jimmy Inc. lunges at Jimmy and fatally stabs him, saving Spike. Afterward, she inquires of Spike where he was trying to escape to. Spike responds that he would prefer to be anywhere but here. Jimmy Inc. persuades him that there is no safe haven for them, so he has to stay with her. Meanwhile, Samson is rinsing his hands in a stream deep in the woods. Before long, he hears the sounds of children laughing, car engines roaring, and faint music echoing from a distance. He follows the sounds and arrives at an old railway yard. Climbing aboard a train, he settles into one of the seats. Gazing out the window, he drifted back to his childhood memories. Eventually, he snaps back to reality and realizes he is encircled by a horde of ravenous zombies. A fierce battle breaks out as Samson fights back, having returned to his former self. Using his considerable strength, he overpowers the zombies. Meanwhile, Lord Jimmy and his followers reach the Bone Temple. Dr. Kelson, disguised as the Dark Lord, steps out of the Bone Temple as the music plays on. He dances on the podium, convincing all the Jimmies that he is the true Dark Lord. The thunderous music catches Samson's attention as he comes out of the train after defeating the zombies. Pretending to be Old Nick, Kelson tells the Jimmies that they are his followers, and their dark energy even dims the sunlight. Lord Jimmy asks Kelson if he has any orders for them. Kelson confirms that he does, directing Jimmy to continue to skin and disembowel the fading souls of his realm. He instructs the other Jimmies to always heed Lord Jimmy's commands. Jimmy reassures Kelson that they will follow his directives. Later, he asks Kelson for permission to leave, but Kelson approaches Spike and removes his mask, astonished to see Spike among the Jimmies, knowing he once saved Spike and his mother from the zombies. Kelson tells Lord Jimmy he has one more command to give. He orders Jimmy to crucify himself and take his rightful place, declaring he is his only son and true heir to the throne. Lord Jimmy questions who will carry out this crucifixion. Kelson answers that his Jimmies will do it. Jimmy moves forward with a knife, but Lord Jimmy orders her to stop, revealing that the old man is not the real Satan. And with that, he plunges a knife into Kelson. Lord Jimmy commands his Jimmies to kill Jimmy Inc. immediately, but Jimmy Inc. is ready for the confrontation. In the meantime, Spike stabs Lord Jimmy, inflicting serious injury on him. Spike checks on Kelson and asks why he didn't let them go. Kelson responds that he recognized him behind the mask the moment he saw him. Jimmy Inc. states that while he is not the Dark Lord, she can still follow his one final command. In accordance with Kelson's dying wish, Jimmy Inc. and Spike crucify Lord Jimmy upside down. Writhing in agony, Jimmy tells the expiring Kelson that he cannot hear Old Nick's voice. Shortly after, Samson appears as Old Nick. He checks on Kelson, expressing gratitude for restoring his humanity. Soon after, Kelson succumbs to his fatal injury and dies. Samson picks up his body and leaves. Seconds later, he returns and kills Jimmy. Back at the shelter, a father and his daughter Sam look out the window and spot two men being chased by a group of zombies. The father-daughter duo decides to help them. You are watching a recap of the movie 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, 2026. Thank you for watching, and enjoy our other videos as well. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.